It is Judgment Day for the mastermind behind the biggest Ponzi scheme ever. Bernie Madoff is set to be sentenced today for bilking investors out of billions of dollars. Many of them will be at the courthouse this morning, and that's where we find our chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross. Good morning, Brian.
Good morning, Robin. Hundreds of the victims are expected here today. They're already lining up outside. Extra seating has been arranged so they can watch as the man who cheated them for decades faces his day of reckoning.
Madoff built a fabulous life with the money he stole. His New York City penthouse apartment, seen here in pictures obtained by ABC News, was decorated with nothing but the best. And it was the same at the homes in the Hamptons, in Florida, and on the Riviera in France.
Obviously, he slept at night. He enjoyed himself. I never could picture him as wanting to hurt innocent people. But clearly he did, and clearly he knew he was doing it.
Madoff treated his employees to big salaries and big parties, a 3-day summer shindig where he and Ruth held court in the beach chairs, and a Christmas party that former employees say at one time included topless waitresses and Bernie smoking marijuana.
You're standing there, a kid from nowhere, and you're passing a joint to somebody, who's a millionaire.
Bernie's Little Black Book, a $415 version from Hermes, reveals he had a worldwide stable of women. Among the 147 names, a list of women under the letter M for masseuses, including one, Lena, whose services are described on the internet by other customers as highly sexual and enjoyable.
I did tell Bernie if he loses that book that somebody's going to think he's a pervert.
Madoff and his wife Ruth traveled the world as he swindled both strangers and friends with a smile on his face. People who have talked to him say he shows little remorse for his victims, although today he will likely tell the judge he regrets what he did.
That's what you're supposed to say. I mean, you can't walk in and say, I had a great time screwing all these people.
Likewise, his wife Ruth has yet to publicly express any regrets for her husband's crimes, even though many of her close friends and her own sister were among the victims.
Mrs. Madoff, do you have anything to say to the victims?
No response to you.
Ruth will not be at today's sentencing, reportedly because she fears facing the victims, who in letters and testimony to the judge demand no mercy.
The most that you can do is ensure that he never takes a breath of air as a free man.
Federal prosecutors will ask the judge to sentence Madoff to 150 years. His lawyer says 12 years is fair. In advance of today's hearing, the judge ordered Madoff and his wife to forfeit everything they own, including the penthouse apartment, except for $2.5 million that Ruth will keep. $2.5 million more than many of her victims think she deserves, Robin.
I'm sure. Brian, thank you so much.